Pisces, welcome back to the channel. Monica Lou here at the Love Messages. So today we are going to be doing a reading from the 21st to the 28th of May. Now this is going to be a general reading, so it may resonate with you, it may not. If it does resonate with you, there will be a link in the description box for a private reading with me if you so choose. Pisces, in this reading, I'm going to be taking a look at past, present, and future for you. I'm going to clarify the cards and pull some advice. Okay, so your challenge is the King of Wands, and what you don't see coming at the bottom of the deck, you have the Two of Swords upright, okay? So your biggest challenge here, Pisces, is the King of Wands, fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I feel this is somebody you're dealing with. I don't feel this is you. This person's been extremely challenging for you. They've really been just nitpicking at things and maybe been very challenging for you. And perhaps, you may need to make a decision about this person possibly. There may be some choices here that you have to make, some things that you have to reevaluate. We're going to talk about this. We're going to see why it's your challenge and get more information for you in a moment. Now, in the recent past, Pisces, you have the Sun, the Three of Pentacles, and the Knight of Swords. So in the recent past, I do get a sense here that there's a couple of things. Either you were very quick to collaborate with certain people here in the past and it brought a lot of happiness to you, or you decided to cut certain collaborative energy with certain people off in order to be happy again. So either way, there was something here that swiftly changed in a partnership, in co-creating space here in the past. There's something here that changed in the past for you. It happened very abruptly, but it brought a lot of happiness for you. It's something that was very much needed, okay? Now, keep in mind, I want to mention this to you because the final week of May is it's a shift in energy for a lot of us, especially you, because Saturn is going to be exiting finally out of your sign, okay? In Western astrology, this is predictive energy, okay? So for those of you who follow Vedic, I'm not doing Vedic on the channel. I'm doing Western because this is a predictive channel. I do predictions and I do transits in astrology. I'm a transit astrologist. So I look at future projections. I don't look at what's happening right now. Okay, because what's happening today is gone tomorrow. So I'm looking at what is coming in for you. And what is coming in for you is there's going to be a shift in your consciousness. There's going to be a shift in how you do things. With Saturn finally exiting out of your sign, you've learned how to be more responsible, more aware of your responsibilities, your actions, the things that you need to do, the things that you need to get serious about in your life. And this may be bringing forth some sort of major changes when it finally exits out of your sign. Okay, now let's talk about the present moment. Now in the present moment, you have the Three of Swords, the Justice, and you have the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so in the present moment, there is pain. There is a disappointing energy here in the present moment. And I'm going to tell you it's a specific message. So it's so specific, it's not going to resonate with majority of you. If this reading doesn't resonate with you, it means you're past this timeline. It means you don't need the reading, okay, for this week. And that's a good thing, right? Because you've grown and you've learned and you're moving to the next level. In the present moment, if you're feeling pain, if you're feeling sadness, if you're feeling an energy of disappointment, you're feeling this because there's something in the present moment that's asking you to be more self-reliant, that's asking you to be more independent, that's asking you to set yourself free from the bondage that you may be experiencing with a certain person in your life. There's something about being intertwined or intermingled with a specific person. They're causing you pain, they're hurting you, and either you're ignoring it or you're pretending like it's not important. In the present moment, you have the Justice. And what the Justice is indicating here is something in your life that's caused you a lot of pain is going to be set right. It's just a matter of time before the situation is set right. I see you setting yourself free in the present moment from something here that's been holding you back for a very long time. I feel there's been pressure. There's been some sort of pressure on you. It's almost like someone's been squeezing or pushing you down and you haven't been able to achieve your full potential. But because you are now aware of this pain that you've been feeling inside of yourself, you're now able to recognize what needs to be set right in the present moment, because there's a situation in your life that needs to be set right. Okay, that's the feeling right now. That's what's happening in the present moment. And you also have the Nine of Pentacles here. So when you start to realize this pain that you have and you start to recognize the necessary changes that you have to make, and this could be legal changes, this could be divorce for some of you, this could be, going to court, with a lawsuit. Maybe you felt you were treated unfairly here and you want justice. There's something here in the present moment about, I want justice, I want fairness, I feel I wasn't treated right. And the good thing here is that when you do win from this situation, because I feel you are in the right here, this is why the justice is showing up, you're going to have an opportunity not only to set yourself free from this situation, but you're also going to be able to but have the resources to become abundant once again. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing for you. We're going to find out more in a moment. In the near future, Pisces, you have the Queen of Cups, the Three of Cups, and you have the Eight of Pentacles. So in the near future, I do feel very strongly this has something to do with your work. I do feel that you're going to be celebrating a major win in your work in the near future. You're going to accomplish something great, amazing. And when this finally happens for you, I do feel that you're going to love yourself more. I mean, not that you don't love yourself already, but there's going to be so much more. There's going to be so much more love and openness to emotions and love and just energies of emotional openness here in the near future because of something amazing that you accomplish and achieve in your career, in your work. Okay. And we're going to talk more about that in a moment. What you don't see coming at the bottom of the deck, you have the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. So there's an important choice or decision that you have to make here. You may need to weigh your options about whether or not you want to remain open to a specific person. And I do feel this specific person that we're talking about in question has really been affecting your career. They may have been affecting your finances. They may have been affecting your home life. They may have been just affecting you just in a number of areas. And this is why your challenge is the King of Wands. So you may need to make an important decision about this person, okay? Because they are affecting you in some way, shape, or form. And again, if this person is no longer affecting you and you've discarded them, then you're past this timeline. Okay. A lot of you watching my channel, it will come to a point where you're going to say, none of these readings resonate with me anymore because you've grown. Okay. That's the point of this channel. The point of this channel is not to keep you stuck in a loop. It's here to free you so that you can actually be the highest version of yourself and reach that high potential for yourself. Okay, so let's get into your reading. Let's clarify. The King of Wands is your challenge, fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. That is clarified by the Five of Pentacles, the King of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. Your biggest challenge here, it's very obvious that, and I'm just gonna give it to you straight. Okay, no chase. I'm just gonna tell you like it is. Okay, let's keep it real. Your biggest challenge here has a lot to do with someone you're dealing with. Point blank. You're dealing with somebody who's been very difficult to deal with. Extremely, extremely difficult to deal with. The reason why this person's been extremely difficult to deal with is because it's really putting this impediment on your life. It's impeding you in some sort of way. Now, if you don't know what the word impede means, it means really to create some form of a struggle. stopping you, halting you from your success. And it really hurts you on a very deep level that somebody would do this to you. Why would somebody sabotage you? Why would somebody go out of their way to make you feel like you're not worthy of what you believe you deserve? Some of you are dragging this person along day in and day out. They're negative. They have nothing positive to say. They're putting you down all the time. Maybe they don't believe in your goals. Maybe they create more burdens for you in your life. So ultimately, your challenge here has a lot to do, and this is what's going to happen when Saturn leaves your sign. Because when Saturn leaves your sign, what Saturn did for the last 3 years for you, it taught you how to be responsible. It taught you how to be on time. It taught you how to maybe build a business. It taught you how to take things serious, take responsibility. It taught you how to be structured. And now that it's exiting out of your sign, you are very much aware of people and situations that are not in alignment with those standards that you've created for yourself for the past 3 years. Many of you are dealing with somebody who's sabotaging you, okay? Or they're dragging or weighing you down. And the more you're around this person, the more you start to realize how much this person isn't in alignment with you anymore. And it could be somebody you're married to. It could be a friend. It could be an environment. It could be a group of people. Maybe it's people that want to work with you. I don't know. But this has something to do with this person bringing you down. Point blank. Not going to resonate with all of you. The readings lately for me have been very, very specific for very specific individuals. So your biggest challenge here is to determine, and it's interesting because underneath the clarification deck, we have the death, which means something is changing when it comes to you and this person. What you're learning at this time is you're learning and you're realizing that if you are going to be successful, which you clearly you're already successful with Saturn being in your sign for the last 3 years, I hope you've achieved something over the last 3 years that you can say, look what I've achieved over the last 3 years. And if you haven't, then you really need to learn astrology so that you're aware of that. Some of you just naturally did it, right? Your challenge here is to really ask yourself this important question. The important question is, am I ready to continue to drag this person, to drag this scenario along with me? Because all it's doing is it's making me feel like I have nothing going on. It's making me feel like I'm stuck. It's making, these are the things that are coming up to the surface. New cycle is coming in. Now that a new cycle is coming in, there's going to be a lot of questioning current events, current situations, current standards, current trajectories in your life, right? Because when that shift happens, things are not going to be the same. So many of you right now, your biggest challenge is to ask yourself if this person, this fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, maybe this Taurus, maybe this Aquarius, is it somebody that you want to drag along with you? And are they feeding into your life or are they draining it? That's going to be a big part of your challenge, okay? Now, let's talk about the recent past. Okay, so your recent past energy, you have the Three of Pentacles, which is clarified by the World, the Queen of Cups, and the Seven of Cups. So in the recent past, I do feel that you were starting to collaborate with people in your work. Maybe you were teaming up or cooperating in some way, shape, or form. There really wasn't a clear understanding of why you were doing this. I think you were just doing it out of maybe being assisting to others. Even if this was a personal relationship that you were going through, a lot of you started to question the energy that you were pouring into certain things, right? You were questioning, putting energy into partnerships, putting energy into collaborative energies. Whatever the case is, a lot of you started to question things here in the past because things were not really clear. And of course, in the past, Neptune was in your sign with Scorpio, with Saturn there. So the illusions that started to come to the surface for you started to question them, and you started to get really serious about asking the important questions here in the past. You also have the Sun here, which is clarified by the Temperance, the Six of Cups, and the Two of Wands. So for some of you, it started to become very apparent that you were dealing with somebody here who was either, this person, excuse me, was either wasting your time, or they were making things appear positive when really they weren't. Okay, you started to remove yourself from this person. You started to separate yourself from them because there's something here about delusionment or illusions or telling you what you wanted to hear. Something here just wasn't adding up for you in the past. And you may have said to yourself, I really need to get out of this. I really need to remove myself from the situation, because if I don't remove myself from the situation, I'm going to continue to feed into something that really isn't clear to me. It's not really feeding into my emotional needs, wants, and desires. And maybe that's what the Queen of Cups is talking about in the near future. Maybe it's talking about you getting back to this place of feeling fulfilled again in what you do instead of feeling drained all the time. So you moved yourself away from the situation. A lot of you cut somebody off here in the past. You literally cut their supply off. Some of you are dealing with a narcissist, literally. Okay. So I am getting this emphasis here. The King of Swords, you cut somebody off here in the past. And I'm getting this acid type of energy, like a chemical reaction kind of, right? You know, when you put acid on something and it kind of, it just kind of deteriorates. So something here was deteriorating in the past. And I think what started to come to your attention here, Pisces, in the past, you have the Ten of Cups, the Judgment, and the King of Swords. What you came to a realization here about was your happiness. You may have realized that if you continued to go along with something here that wasn't for you, it would just end in sadness and disappointment. So a lot of you disconnected from a particular person here in the past to preserve your happiness. It was a hard decision, but a lot of you needed to do it, okay? Others of you were dealing with someone who was cheating. Maybe they were treating you as an option. That's for some of you. And you had no other choice but to separate yourself from this person in the past, even though you had a lot of memories with this person. And it took you time. It took you time to do this, but eventually you decided to do it, okay? That's what I'm seeing happened here in the past. Let's clarify the present moment. Okay, so in the present moment, you have the Three of Swords. So there's definitely pain here still in the present moment. That is clarified by the Queen of Swords, the Fool, and the Ten of Wands. I think what is really happening for many of you in the present moment, something's become very difficult. It's become very overwhelming and very difficult for you. And as a result of that, I do feel very strongly here that the more this situation becomes difficult, the more you start to focus on a new beginning. Okay. The more you start to plan in the background. Some of you are planning in the background an escape. How am I going to have a new beginning? What is my new beginning going to look like? How am I going to deal with these issues? Some of you have already dealt with these issues, or you already have made plans to move into a new direction. And the reason why you're still feeling this pain in the present moment is to remind you, and this is something that the water signs are going through, the pain is there to remind you of the things that need to change. So if you've had a hard time having a new beginning, dealing with your responsibilities, getting serious about things, when Saturn leaves your sign, you no longer have that Saturnian energy there to help you to get serious. It's leaving your sign into Aries and is moving into your second house if you're a rising Pisces. So you're going to have to get even more serious now, because now Saturn is moving into the second house in Aries, which is a deterrent. It is not a good placement, which is going to really force people to get serious about themselves. So if people have been codependent, if people have been relying on other people, if people have been doing all of that, there are certain things that are going to become very heavy. And the pain that you feel in the present moment is going to constantly nudge you. It's going to go like this. Pisces, remember that pain you went through. You're going to say, oh yeah, that's why I need to have a new beginning. Oh yeah, that's why I need to deal with that. Oh yeah, that's why I need to do that. So the pain is there to put pressure, but it's there for you to not forget, so that you continue moving on with this new direction, because you're already going into that new direction. You've already moved into some sort of new direction, and it is going to help you get over the pain that you're feeling, but it's also going to help you remind you of the responsibilities and things that you need to take care of so that you remain on that path. Because here's what happens for a lot of people. Things aren't going good in our lives, and we tend to backtrack all the time, right? It's like we know something has to change, but we're uncomfortable with change, right? We say, oh, I don't want to change. I don't want to change that. I'm not going to waste my time changing that, right? But it comes to the point where many of you come to this realization of, well, I have no other choice but to move into this new direction because it's just not serving me anymore. So this is why this is happening. The pain is happening in the present moment. Now, the justice is here. Some of you are divorcing, or you're disconnecting from someone, or maybe you were in a situation where you felt you were done unfairly. You weren't done through the justice. The justice wasn't there for you. Karma is presenting itself in the present moment. Of course, Saturn is moving out of your sign. So all the trials, all the tribulations that you've gone through over the last 3 years, it wasn't in vain. You had to go through that. You are walking away. You're disconnecting from something. And why? You're doing that because you believe the only way that you can get the justice that you truly deserve is by disconnecting emotionally from the situation. Pisces, you're a very emotional sign. You're one of the most emotional signs in the zodiac, besides Cancer, okay? And that's how you thrive. You thrive in your emotions. You thrive in daydreaming. You thrive in this fantasy living. That's fine. But I think something has become so real for you and so unfair that you don't want to have any other part to do with it. It's just simply not fair for you anymore. And when you walk away from the situation, if that's what you're doing in the present moment, you're going to liberate yourself. The sun and the star, this is liberation. This is major liberation. Look at that. That's beautiful energy. You're literally walking away from something, and you're now refocusing your energy on your health, your well-being. And this is your justice. This is the karma. The karma is you walking away from something here that isn't serving you anymore. Having the strength to do that has been huge for you. And this is you moving into a new direction, okay? Now, 9 of Pentacles, a lot of you have been working on your independence, your financial abundance. And if you have, this is good, because when a relationship becomes extremely unbearable, and it will, some of you, it already has been, the relationship is so unbearable that you have no other choice but to dip out. Bye, see ya, I'm out, okay? If you haven't been working on yourself over the last 3 years, you really, really, really need to start getting serious, okay? If you already have been doing the work, it's gonna pay off because something here is coming to an end in the present moment. Some toxic relationship is done. I think a lot of you have to remember to forgive yourself. Easier said than done. I'm seeing 1044 on the clock. Check out what angel number 1024 means, because there could be an important message. So there's an element here of needing to forgive yourself for maybe remaining or being in a relationship for a very long time that's been extremely toxic. I do get a sense here that it is coming to an end, which is good. With Saturn moving out of your sign, you're no longer going to feel that grunt energy, you know, that burden, that heavy stone weighing on your neck, on the back of your neck, right? A lot of you are just going to let it go and move on. So I do strongly feel for many of you, there is a strong element here of forgiveness or needing to forgive yourself and then moving towards that independent energy. And if you haven't, I'm just going to put this out there. If you haven't been working on being financially independent, it's something that you need to start looking into, because I feel a relationship that you're involved in, again, doesn't matter if it's romantic or not, it's unhealthy. And I think you know that that's why you moved away from the situation in the past, and that's why the King of Wands is your challenge, okay? So this is what I'm seeing for you in the present moment. Let's clarify the near future. Okay, so in the near future, you have the Queen of Cups, excuse me, this is you. And your important message here is the Knight of Swords, the Page of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. If you're afraid that you aren't going to find new love in the future, I'm sorry, you are sadly mistaken, okay? New love is coming in when you decide to move into a new direction, but what is that going to look like for you, Pisces? What it's going to look like for you is it's going to look like you choosing to cut something off. Some of you are cutting someone off, and it could be someone from your past, a past experience, past situation. Once you deal with this situation that you believe no longer resonates with you, it's no longer in your favor, once you completely are confident enough to completely remove yourself from the situation, and I see you doing it very quickly in the near future, you're moving towards something that's a lot more fulfilling. So if you're afraid of letting go of something now because you're afraid that you won't find something better, please don't be in that energy, because it's not true. Sometimes you have to take the trash out. And when you take the trash out, guess what? Your house starts to smell better. You no longer get headaches because the garbage isn't stinking up and festering in your home. You have a cleaner state and environment, and now you have a new bag to put new stuff in. So I do feel that when you cut the situation off and you really make an effort to put it behind you, this new direction is going to bring something a lot more fulfilling. In the near future, you're celebrating, okay, with friends. You've achieved something here. You're going to have to make a decision here, okay, about, this is what you don't see coming. Two of Pentacles, the Two of Swords. You may need to make a decision about a person that you don't trust anymore, because in the near future, you stop trusting certain people, certain friends. And you have to ask yourself, if the situation's worth continuing to give to. Some of you are still not past this. Some of you are still in denial about a relationship, a friendship, but it becomes very evident and clear that somebody here doesn't have your best interest at heart, and you're going to have to decide if you still want to pour your energy into the situation. Now, you have the Eight of Pentacles. There's definitely a situation here about your work. There's an important message. You have the Five of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles. One of the things that you have to recognize and realize is that the more you are not emotionally regulated, the more your nervous system isn't regulated, the more your emotions are heightened, up and down, and inconsistent, it will affect your work, okay? So it's really important that you recognize when something is not working anymore. I'm seeing a third party here in the near future. Maybe you find out about a third party, or you just seem to recognize here in the near future that something that once was really great, there's no turning back. Okay. And I said this to Scorpio. I think that this is a common theme for the water signs. There's something here about no longer turning back. And just remember that your relationships, the people you entertain, the emotions that you share with certain people, it is connected to your work, because you are a highly sensitive and emotional person, and it seeps into your work. So if you don't deal with those emotions on the back end, it will affect your work, okay? So make sure that when the opportunity shows up, that you are looking at things for what they truly are. And now that Neptune is out of your sign, there's no more fog anymore. There's no more of this, well, I thought things were really like this. No, they're really actually like this. And when you see things for what they really are, you're gonna have a lot of an easier time maybe blocking somebody out of your life, closing a chapter out, and really making a decision that is going to work in your favor, okay? So let's get some advice, Pisces. What's the advice? So your biggest piece of advice is the Nine of Swords. You have the Four of Pentacles and the Temperance. Your biggest piece of advice here is to ask yourself what you continue to hold on to. What stress, what worry, what anxiety do you continue to hold on to? And how can you successfully let go of this situation? Because like I said, the situation that you've been holding on to for 4 years, 4 months, 4 days, it's really been wreaking havoc on you. Hard time sleeping, stressed out, worried, overwhelmed by a situation. This has been happening for quite some time. For some of you, 9 years. It's been a really long time that this has been going on. And it's connected to a Taurus, a Sagittarius, or an Aquarius. You really have to ask yourself, have I been holding on to this for too long? And how is it affecting my mental health? How is it affecting my psyche? How is it affecting my nervous system? Recognize and realize that sometimes when you continue to hold on to things that aren't for you over a long period of time, it can really have a detrimental effect on you. And at that point, you may need to make a decision about what you decide to do moving forward. And like I say all the time in the readings, I can't make that decision for you. All I can do is show you the energies and show you what's really going on to give you a clearer picture to make the right informed and educated decision. But there is something in your life that you're holding on to. And I think the end piece of advice here for you to take away from this is something in your life worth holding on to for a long period of time if it's causing you stress, fear, anxiety, and worry? Or is it better being let go of. Choice is going to be yours, okay? So Pisces, this is what I have for you. I hope this reading helped. Thank you very much for tuning into this reading, and I'll see you on the next one.